Hi, and welcome to Lesson 11. How do I evaluate the success of what I've taught? Traditionally, we use letter or number grades to evaluate a student's progress. Even school psychologists and diagnosticians test students and post number scores to show where these students fall compared to norms for their age. In the body of the test report, however, the evaluator may list some special conditions or unusual situations that arose during the testing procedure and strengths that need to be highlighted. Typically, with a number or letter grade, there's not any specific mention of a particular strength or need in a subject. It may be left up to the student to evaluate their progress and their understanding of the work based on the types of problems or written answers they produced. In the previous lesson, I discussed the use of alternative assessments, and I touched on one way that you can evaluate unique projects. This way is called a rubric. I'm sure that each of you has had some experience with rubrics before. It can be time-consuming to create rubrics for each assignment, but like many of the other things that we discussed in these chapters, I can say that once you design your instruction with the rubrics, you don't have to do it again. The requirements for a project are very specific, and students must demonstrate that they have the materials to support the grade they're earning. It's definitely self-supported, self-regulated learning. A less time-intensive way to evaluate your teaching would be to do something called a think, pair, and share, where one student communicates with another what they know or what they've learned based on your instruction. Another effective instruction tool would be to have a select student stand up and state one or more important concepts of the lesson, or perhaps to add to an anchor chart of what we know about the topic. This particular tool is called a KWL chart. What I already know about the topic, what I wanted to know about the topic, and what I learned about the topic. This type of activity builds metacognitive skills for your students because they're thinking out loud about what they know, what they don't know, and what they've learned. Rapid fire rounds with popsicle sticks questions can fill that short space when students are preparing to leave the class or waiting for the bell to ring. Typical questioning might consist of one of these. Give me an example of. Tell the person next to you what you think the most important part of the lesson was today. Find the mistake in this statement. Would you rather do this or that? Why? Okay, zoom out. What we're doing here is helping the students construct their understanding of a topic or concept. We know that when a student can restate or explain information in their own words, that they own the information. In using some or all of these techniques, you can reflect on your teaching and decide based on your skills and abilities and those of your learners what works best in moving your students forward. In the next chapter, we'll be discussing building learner independence. Again, please use the QR code to contribute information to evaluate the success of this lesson. Thanks again.